welcoming you to Peachtree City, Georgia.
Peachtree City is literally a bubble town that is completely intertwined with golf cart paths. There's probably 20 golf courses through the city, and you can get anywhere you want literally by driving a golf. The golf cart paths are cool and everything, but I feel like it creates just a little bit tighter lock on our bubble town, not letting any fun in. Like, for instance, one time Hooters tried to come to town, and the committee, the city council, whatever, got together and did something and basically banned Hooters from coming in. They didn't let them build their establishment. You can just imagine, with regulations like that the nightlife in Peachtree City is basically non-existent. It's a great family town. Don't get me wrong, I love this place, but I'm almost 30 years old. I don't have my own family, and I would rather be somewhere else. I'm a sucker for stray animals, which is why I always have guys like these pulling me around. The problem is, I don't make enough money to support myself, all the animals I take in, and try to save money. That's another thing that motivates me about the Ninja Warrior tournament. Because if I win, one of the first things I'll do is get out of this town so I can start my business and get my animal shelter started too. I was actually born with a genetic condition called pectus excavatus. It's passed down through my family. My dad had it, my grandfather had it, and now I have it. It basically describes a hole or a dent in your chest, which looks a lot like this. When I was a kid, this didn't really bother me too much because it was just kind of a funny thing that you can actually show off to your friends and everything. But as I got older, it was more apparent that it was actually making a problem for my breathing. It was pushing in on my windpipe and not letting me inhale as much as I could, especially if there was ever like pressure on my chest or something like that. When I started wrestling, that's when we really decided that we needed to fix it, because every time I got on my back, it only took a couple seconds before it was like I had to tap out or I was going to pass out.
Two more.
Great. We decided to have it fixed, so at certain angles you can still see, like, there's a hole right here. It looks pretty normal actually, but if you look closely, it's still kind of deformed, and that's what they were trying to fix. So it still pushes down on the windpipe a little bit and doesn't let me inhale, like expand like I should. Like, it still pushes in right there. Left with a 4-inch scar that went from right there down to here. It's like 4.5 inches. So basically what they did is they took my rib cage apart. They took every rib off my sternum and like reformed it, took my sternum, sucked all the cartilage out, and then like sewed them all back on. So basically for the 6 months I had a floating rib cage, and there was nothing really protecting my organs except like a bunch of bones that were sewn together. Recovery was awful. The first thing I remember was, I guess, waking up in the ICU and having my chest feel like a water balloon. It was kind of like every time my heart beat, it was literally like a water bed. Like if you jump in a water bed and you feel the ripple go blah, and all the way through the bed. That's what happened to my chest every time. sneezing right after I woke up from surgery. My chest felt like everything just ripped right. The second worst pain was having the epidural ripped out of my spine. Number one was having the catheter ripped out after 5 days in the hospital. It was like about an hour after I got the epidural ripped out too. I just had to lay in bed. The nurse counted to 3. She really went to 3 this time, and it felt like my bladder was being pulled out through this sack that I had to wear. It was basically a tube coming out of my stomach that was connected to a big bulb sack of like fluids and blood that had been building up in my chest cavity. So I ended up having to go to school wearing this like vest, like protective chest, bulletproof vest looking thing.
Nice.
So I had the bulletproof vest and then the tube with the sack hanging off the end of it connected to my belt loop, just sitting there, and you know, every once in a while I have to raise my hand and get the teacher to let me go to the bathroom to empty my fluids. That was a fun year. My parkour program has actually really taken off in the past 2 years. And if everything goes to plan, then I'm going to have Gary, Robert, and Scott down there at Tryouts with me.
Thanks again, G4. We'll see you at Tryouts.